Good morning. In today's adventure, we are going to visit the historic castle of St. Andrews, a place which has seen so many rises and falls of the kingdoms over the past 10 centuries. The castle sits on a rocky promontory overlooking a small beach called Castle Sands. There has been a castle standing at the site since the time of Bishop Roger 1189-1202, son of Earl of Leicester. Castle has housed the borough's wealthiest and powerful bishops. During the Wars of Scottish Independence, the castle was destroyed and rebuilt several times as it changed hands between the Scots and English. Soon after the sack of Berwick in 1296 by Edward I of England, the castle was taken and made ready for the English king in 1303. In 1314, however, after the Scottish victory of Bannockburn, the castle was retaken and repaired by Bishop William Lamberton, Guardian of Scotland, a loyal supporter of King Robert the Bruce. The English had recaptured it again by the 1330s and reinforced its defences in 1336, but were not successful in holding the castle. Sir Andrew Moray, Regent of Scotland, in the absence of David II, recaptured it after a siege lasting 3 weeks. Shortly after this, in 1336-1337, it was destroyed by the Scots to prevent the English from once again using it as a stronghold. The castle remained in this ruined state until Bishop Walter Traill rebuilt it at the turn of the century. This castle forms the basis of what can be seen today. He completed work on the castle in about 1400 and died within its walls in 1401. Several notable figures spent time in the castle over the next several years. James I of Scots, 1406-1337, received part of his education from Bishop Henry Wardlaw, the founder of St. Andrews University, in 1410. A later resident, Bishop James Kennedy, was a trusted advisor of James II of Scotland. In 1445, the castle was the birthplace of James III of Scotland. During these years, the castle also served as a notorious prison. The castle's bottle dungeon is a dank and airless pit cut out of solid rock below the northwest tower. It housed local miscreants who fell under the bishop's jurisdiction, as well as several more prominent individuals such as David Stewart, Duke of Rothesay, in 1402. While Archbishop Patrick Graham, who was judged to be insane and might have been imprisoned at this place for a while, actually died in captivity in Loch Leven Castle in 1478. During the Scottish Reformation, the castle became a centre of religious persecution and controversy. Referring to the bottle dungeon, the Scottish reformer John Knox wrote, "Many of God's children were imprisoned here." In 1521, James Beaton, then Archbishop of Glasgow, won the seat of St. Andrews and took up residence in the castle. James Beaton altered the defences to enable the castle to withstand a heavy artillery attack, which was a threat as tension grew between English Protestants and Scottish Catholics. In 1538, James Beaton was succeeded by his ambitious and wealthy nephew, Cardinal David Beaton. His strong opposition to the marriage of Mary, Queen of Scots, with Prince Edward, later King Edward VI, the son of heir of Henry VIII of England, helped to spark renewed fighting in 1544. Mine tunnel dug during the siege in 1546, Scottish Protestants were increasingly viewed as dangerous turncoats who sided with the English. In 1546, David Beaton imprisoned the Protestant preacher George Wishart in the castle's sea tower and had him burnt at the stake in front of the castle walls on 1st of March. In May the same year, Wishart's friends conspired against the cardinal. On 26th of May, they gained entry to the castle by disguising themselves as masons when some building work was in progress. After overcoming the garrison, they murdered Cardinal Beaton and hung his body from his window on the front of the castle. Following his murder, the Protestants took refuge in the castle and formed the first Protestant congregations in Scotland. A long siege was ordered by the Scottish regent James Hamilton, 2nd Earl of Arran. In October 1546, a mine was begun by the attackers, which was successfully countermined by the defenders. Both the mine and countermine cut through the solid rock. They were rediscovered in 1879 and remain open to the public today. A French fleet arrived bringing an Italian engineer Leon Strozzi, who directed a devastating artillery bombardment to dislodge the Protestant lairds. The lairds knew an expert was in the field when their own Italian engineer observed cannon being winched into position with ropes rather than exposing the besiegers to their fire. The castle was quickly rendered indefensible. Following this Protestant defeat, the castle was substantially rebuilt by Archbishop John Hamilton. But following his death in 1571, it was mainly occupied by the succession of constables. Parliament separated the castle from the archbishopric in 1606 and it was granted to the Earl of Dunbar constables since 1603. In 1612, it was returned to Archbishop George Glenstane's further attempt to re-establish the former state of the Archbishop failed. With the eventual success of the Reformation of Scotland, the office of bishop was increasingly eroded until it was finally abolished by William of Orange in 1689. Deprived by any function, the castle fell rapidly into ruin by 1656. It had fallen into such disrepair that the Borough Council ordered the use of its materials in repairing the pier. The principal remains are a portion of the south wall enclosing the square tower, the bottle dungeon, the kitchen tower, and the underground mine and countermine. The castle grounds are now maintained by Historic Environment Scotland as a scheduled monument. Exploring the world and sharing these exciting adventures with you is a passion of mine. Be a part of my passion by hitting the like button and share this video as much as possible. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future adventures. Take only memories, leave only footprints. See you next week with a new adventure. Ciao.